Let's go with it. And let's see what sort of connection we get out here. Check 112. Let's go with it. And let's see what sort. Yep, that looks like we're live. Looks like we're live. So fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and get away from that for a second. And we've got a number of things to look at today. I'm just going to kind of rearrange the docket here so we can kind of get moving on in the direction we need to be moving on. So we've definitely got Miro here. Let's see, Abby had. Where did Abby go? Yeah, Abby, here she is. Abby's got a preview over here in Webflow that we need to take a look at, which is always interesting the first time somebody's getting started in Webflow. So I'm interested to see what's going on here. Looks like she's got some questions. We'll come back to those in just a second. 63% power, so I'm gonna try to hurl on through this. Oh, and we also have Heather. So I'm gonna, now that we've kind of got this sorted out, we've got Heather, I've got Abby here, and we've got Bren's Miro board. Yeah, there it is. It just took off. It just kind of moved away from me for a second. We've got Miro, we've got Webflow. Let's go ahead and get this underway. Yeah, we'll just come back over here to NewPragmatic.com. Let that be the home screen. Greetings, one and all. Chris Courtney here, NewPragmatic's time for the feedback loop. So good to have you along. I am sitting outside for the first time in forever, recording from the nice porch. You'll hear birds in the background and squirrels running around. I'm going to be living La Vida Loca out here outside for the next week. So good times had by all. We migrated out of Chicago. Got the beer bug vaccine, and we're all good. I'm still not going near people though. Still not going near people. But today we've got Heather, Abby, and Bren all with work in for review today. So let's just get this started. I'm going to come right over here to Bren, and she has really worked on her user story map. And for those seeing the user story map for the first time, essentially what this is, if we zoom on in here into Miro, she's broken down each of the gigantic pieces of her application. So we've got a display items, epic, searching, epic, refining results, add-ons, subscriptions. When you zoom out, you get a much better sense of just how much stuff is here. This is what it takes to build a product, and to check out all the various tasks that are associated with that, creating account settings. Now, the one challenge I've got here for you, Bren, is coming down and saying, okay, what has to be in the V1, okay? Because all of this is not going to be in the V1. So really, you've picked out a few things. It's very sparse down here in the backlog. We need a more robust backlog. And you've got questions here about the results page. It says not sure about this one because there are a lot of duplication between item, display, filtering, and sorting. I'm not necessarily sure where the duplication is. I can see that they're listed here, but they're probably listed in other places. Now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, I see add-ons, item description, item description, item description. The results page is going to have that. So I think that it's fine. This is a situation where you need it and you're listing it. When you go into the build cycle, you'll go, oh, we're going to pick up the item description from the results page, and that'll probably take, the results page, if it has item description, that'll probably take over whatever the shopping cart is, unless you display it differently. If you have a different implementation of that title and description, because that could happen. I mean, this is a search result. You might want something a lot more refined or expansive on it in a different setting. So I wouldn't necessarily take those out of here. What I might suggest though is like going through here and going, okay, is this is this item description really going to be a V1, or am I just going to list titles and maybe that stuff comes later? Because I do want to see some delineation of, what is getting built for the prototype and what isn't. And the other thing I'd like to see is you go. I mean, there's going to be complete sections here somewhere that are going to end up just below the fold here. Like there's going to be a task like cancel subscription. I don't know if you're going to worry about canceling subscription for the prototype, but if not, then these tasks would move right down here, and there would be nothing in the MVP for cancel subscription, but there would be something in the MVP for in the backlog rather. Nothing in the MVP, but everything in the backlog. So it's accounted for. We know it's coming, but it's not here yet. That bird is loud, folks. I feel like it's sitting on my shoulder. But otherwise, Bryn, I really think that you have, aside from breaking this into V1 and backlog, I think that this is very expansive, and I would encourage you to move on to the next task. This would go to a new page. Do I need to do a column for in this instance, or is this just go through the needs of each story and task needed? Well, I mean, okay, so it's a view more. If you wanted to do a new page, I would do new page, but I would then put those tasks in the backlog. It's really up to you, how you handle that. I think this is expansive enough for our purposes. Keep in mind, you're probably still going to find something that is unaccounted for. And I know that seems impossible, but when you begin prototyping this out, you're going to go, oh gosh, I need X, okay? And what we're really trying to get to is, can we minimize the I need X down to like 10%? And the question then is what we're seeing here 90% of what you're going to build, or 90% of what you would need for the V1? And I'm going to guess yes. Just looking through it very broadly, yes, this seems like it appears that you're hitting on the major themes. You've got display item search, or refine results, add-on subscriptions, checkout, create account settings. That's basically going to be the flow. So loud truck now. I think it's going to scare the birds. All right, moving on. We've got, let's hop over here to Heather. Heather's over here in Figma, and she's working through UX writing. And the first part one of this is really coming through and pulling apart an existing page. So this is Toggle's remote working made easy. As we come through it, you get an idea of how organizations set up their pages. So we've got our hero unit here. You've got this section that talks about, just kind of spells out the benefits, how it works, and then something for nonprofits here, and then making signing up easy. So when this started out, Toggle was like, okay, I need, I'm going to say, this is going to be the main pitch, and then how it happens, and then it says encouragement sales pitch for tools, nonprofit sign up. All right, then you come over to V2, second iteration. We want to get into what are the main topics that we want to talk about, and you've added some links for the nav bar. Not entirely worried about that. Acknowledge the changes that come with remote work. A little wind kicking up now. New to remote work, benefits of remote work. So what I'm hoping to see here is that you're kind of brainstorming, okay, what could work in PJs? No water cooler, no physical whiteboards, no meetings in person. And you're not necessarily talking about these in positive or negative terms. You're just like, these are some of the things you need to talk about. So, and then you get into the benefits of work-life balance here, mention, and notice that like whatever's written here, like I'm not looking for I'm not looking for you to come up with the final text on really what is the first pass of the text. I'm wanting you to realize that there's always going to be okay, what's the broad view of what we're talking about? Here's some of the details of what we're going to talk about. So to the finalized version, third and fourth iteration in here for certain sections. So just understand that when you're doing this, there's going to be a slow burn, iteration after iteration, to get from, hey, we need a home page, to the home page. There's a lot of writing here, and it is very detailed, and you don't hit it on the first pass. So transitioning to remote work, here's a timeline, description of view. So you're talking about the things that the tool will let you do, comparison to other tools. So why would you use this instead of these other options? Encouraging people that, you know, everything they're seeing is not too much. Yeah, this feels right. This feels right. The question is, what are you doing over here? And again, if you've never been through this, there is an existing example walking you through. Now this is drop contact, but drop contact is walking you through. Well, that bird is really happy. Drop contact is walking you through the hero pitch, the main thrust of what's being said, and then showing you what the final is. So over here on part 2, I've got your main pitch, I've got login, sign up, product highlights. Keep in mind that this is really set up for mobile. So I would student, teacher, admin, I wouldn't worry about the boxes so much. That we're not designing this, we're writing this. You want to talk about science, art, and PE? That's great. You know, now I need instead, I don't need the box. I need the words that lead to, like, that you know, we've talked about what are the product highlights. It's something for the teacher, something for the student, something for the admin. Subject highlights. So, you know, and this is like, I do like the, like, 3 and 3 kind of compounding benefits approach. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But I do think that there is I mean, we've definitely got to begin writing in the details here, because without that, we never get to the third iteration. So I think you did good on part 1. Part 2, I'm looking for you to carry that same mentality forward, but stay away from the, like, I feel you right now attempting to design it, and it's like we're supposed to be focusing on content first, and then we'll worry about the design later. All right, and now let's get over here to Abby. Abby's working in Webflow, and she's got a few questions here that I think are pretty pertinent. The big one, though, is how you're starting this. If we're looking at, like, we've got this navigator here, and right now you've got problems with the way things are lining up. Like, you know, your nav bar is way over here. I want to talk about this problem right here. I mean, it really begins with the body. All right, the body, you've got margins set on the body, and if you've got margins set on the body, you can't really have margins set anywhere else. And what that means is you've probably got some spacing set up here, which you do. So you got like a negative margin here, which is not great. But then you've got padding set up here as well, not great. Now we've got this container, and the container has a margin as well, which not a bad idea, to be completely honest with you. But we have to kind of figure out, well, what should this container do? So let's put margin of 1. I'm just going to put a margin of 100 on each side of the container, and I have no idea what the width is going to be, because the width is variable. So I'm going to switch that to pixel, or to percentage, and now all of a sudden your nav bar has magically come in from the side. Okay, now you've got some other things to sort out here. Like, it seems like there's a an odd height here to make, no, that's the nav bar, so it must be this container. I'm not sure where the container is getting its height from or why it's that tall. It's probably related to something or another going on here. But we, you know, fixing this is job one. Now we come down here to the grid, and you know, it's interesting on grid if we add, you know, we could put this in a container, but I don't necessarily know why it would do that. Or let's see, wait, let's come on back up here to, let's come back up here to this container here. What did we say? It said 100, 100. Yeah, that's what we said. Okay, so that's 100, 100, and we did 100 on the grid, and it didn't like that so much. Yeah, it definitely doesn't like that as far as alignment goes. So let's get rid of that for a second. What I'm going to suggest doing, oh no, run out of battery. What I'm going to suggest doing here is considering bringing in a container to basically set the width of the grid so that these two things can align together. And again, your container is right here. Let's go over here. I believe it's kind of hard for me to remember where the shapes are. Oh yeah, they're right here. So if I bring a container into play, and I say, okay, you're gonna have a container here, and the grid's gonna fit inside of it. Now, because we've set a size in the container. We said, okay, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Now these are going to line up because these are going to line up together because we've already taken care of the odd spacing that was, you're putting your spacing on the body, and the body is the whole kit and caboodle, really. I'm still having a little, there's like, it's off a little bit, but now I'm curious, like, what happened? Yes, got it. Okay. So now this is lined up in mobile. You know, it's still not working there. It's not working there either. So we got to work on that. But when you go to tablet and desktop, it's now functional. We've got some more work to do here, but at least we've got these much closer together. I do want to come in here to grid and see if there's other considerations, but at least we've gotten that busted nav. And your big question here was related to, is my grid and column set up right? And the answer was no, because you were putting everything on the body. Now keep in mind, the work that I've been doing here is specific to, it's not going to show up in your version of Webflow. So you're going to need to go back into the body, take the margin off of there, so that it can exist in other places. But I'm sure that if you have questions, you will refer back to this video for that. I am curious about the margin here and why. Yeah, let's switch that to 0. Oh, okay. So now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. I'm still not completely convinced that my container is set up correct. So that nav bar is just a wee bit off. But I think that going back here to body, getting that set up, then coming down here, adjusting the container, and then I still want to check things out here. Oh, that container set it to auto. That's interesting. Well, let's do this. Let's set this container to auto, see if it does anything for us. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that doesn't do what we wanted it to do at all. Oh, there's a negative 80 on the nav bar. That's weird. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So I think some of this is related to the fact that you had all those negative, the negative numbers floating around. Let's go back to 0 on that, and let's do the same thing for this side. Okay, so we've still got to have some like negative spacing in here somewhere, because otherwise I can't imagine that you're, let's see here, heading, text span. Okay, so, and I guess the menu button is from the responsive. All right, so let's container nav bar. It's weird that nav bar is, oh, I know what's going on. All right, so now if we said the width was 80%, and then we said auto, well, let's just say auto, and then we said auto on the other side as well. Okay, let's switch this to 90%. Okay, so now let's come back down here. Let's switch this around. Let's say, well, that's weird. I can't. Interesting. Can I give this a width? So can I say that this is 8 and this is 90%? I can. Can I give this auto and auto? I can. Perfectly aligned. So it turns out you don't actually need that container. You can just move grid out of there and it's fine. Get rid of this container because we've already set up this div and it's perfectly aligned now. So there's a couple of problems that we had. We had a specific width on this nav bar. Just setting it to 100% is fine. When you have it to 100%, then I can set the container to a percentage of that, 90%. Set the margins to auto, which means it's going to measure for us. Now that when this comes in, it still remains perfectly aligned. You're going to have to do some typographical tweaks as you go up and down responsively. But doing these adjustments here at the top, that's going to be fundamental to the success you have moving forward. So I would do those first, and then let's roll back with additional questions. But let's definitely do all of this work today, so that you're in a better position to move forward. All right? Okay. All right, folks. I guess I shouldn't. It's just a blank screen today. That's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Feedback Loop. Hope this was helpful for you. Thanks to Bryn and Heather and Abby, that's her right there, for submitting your work today. It's really cool. We were looking in 3 different tools today: Miro, Figma, and Webflow. I'm more than happy to dive into more with you tomorrow. So until then, take care.